I'm here with Alison at Challumbra, and I'm just wanting to ask you, came to us really early in the process. You love this house, you love design, it's a passion of yours. Why did you decide to do the exploration early and upfront?
Well, I think for me, it probably wasn't that early because it's something I've been thinking about forever. And we'd been in the house for 3 years.
Yep.
Just loved the house so much, and we just wanted to really get it right and do the house justice as well. So not pull out all the original features and not make it too modern, just make sure that everything that went in it suited it.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you were really keen to understand the possibilities of the house and what each one of those would cost. And you wanted to have beautiful things. You wanted beautiful stone, you wanted great tiles, you wanted beautiful lighting. You wanted some things that you knew were expensive and you weren't willing to compromise on some of them. So I think it was really important for you to truly understand the cost holistically so that you could decide, am I willing to give that up or am I not?
100%. We had no idea what the cost was going to be either. We had a number in our head and it was nowhere near that.
There is.
No, but
you're not alone.
We've never done it before either, so we really didn't have much of an idea. So we really needed to, I suppose, understand what that was going to look like.
So talk to me about what went well in this process for you.
So the design process went well. You were really, I don't know, had an idea in my head of what it was going to be like, and it's just sort of blown all those expectations. Like even the booth that we're sitting on, I've always wanted a sort of little booth, but I had no idea where it would fit. So the design process definitely went well. The build process was really stressful at times, but I'm really happy with the end results.
It is a stressful process renovating. I'm yet to meet a client that thinks it's a walk in the park. It's really challenging, especially when you're making and changes on the go all the time and things are unknown and you have to push and pull all the time and it's relentless for a long period of time.
Well, I suppose we first engaged Jess, it would have been March last year maybe, March, April last year. So almost 12 months in total.
It's actually pretty quick. And I'll just speak quickly on that. It was quick because of your engagement and your involvement and your willingness to do the work. Yeah. Both you and Luke have been really actively involved in every process. You have decided, you've been decisive, you've asked questions and you've pushed through the process. It's actually a really quick process from conception to moving in 12 months.
I think I've probably been really decisive too because I sort of knew what I wanted and I sort of knew what I wanted those materials to look like. So when you came to me with options, I knew what I wanted.
I think that's important for other people to remember as well, because not everybody has the ability to know what they love or have a real sense of an instant yes or no. A lot of people can be really indecisive. So I think what is really helpful for people to understand in the process is to get to know what you love before you start. Understand what makes your heart skip a beat. It's your home. What do you love? I think you were very good at that.
I had a million little Pinterest boards going.
You did?
Yeah. I've been following the design files forever, so I definitely, it's something that I'm pretty passionate about and something I've had lots of ideas about.
Right. How does it feel to walk in today after just coming back from India? It's been really hard to be over there for the last stages. But to walk in today and to realise all of that hard work, how does it feel?
Amazing. I think it was actually probably a good thing to be away. As much as I didn't want to leave, I think it was good just to sort of let go for those last 6 weeks and just walk in and finally see it sort of all come together.
Great. Is it emotional?
A little bit.
During the process, are there any other moments apart from the design process that you went, great, I'm glad we did that?
So seeing things come together. So when the island bench went in and all the tiling on it went on, it was just so amazing. And this little booth set in here, just sort of seeing it come to life.
I think that's really important, right? Because the design process is quite exciting and getting through those initial and getting excited about the project, but then there's quite a lapse of time between that and when things actually start coming together. And it just does feel like
it's taking
one thing after another, and it is a long process, right? But I think you'll agree that the team that were here, the builders that BCT had here, the boys that were on site, they were great. They were so detail driven, the two guys that were here. They were really active with you and Luke.
They were. James and Jimmy were awesome. And I think Luke's really fussy. even about things
Admittedly
that you can't even
so,
see,
he
like
is.
really little things. And they were and they knew that, and
Yeah.
they really worked with him to make sure he was happy with
Great.
everything they were doing.
So renovating itself is challenging, let alone on a really steep block in an old house with what everyone faces, budget restrictions. Tell us some of the things that you found most challenging in the process.
Definitely the variations, because obviously it's a financial impact, and our budget was already stretched.
Yep.
We had a good contingency, and it very quickly got eaten up. We had to find money places. I sold my car. But we made it work. But that was probably the most stressful thing. And I think that's probably the case with most people that do a renovation is the cost.
And everyone does have a contingency, but sometimes there just are unforeseen things that the builder or the design team or the project team or you are just not going to know. And when they come up, you've got to find the money, right? But what I thought was fantastic that you and Luke did was that you came to your project team and you lent on us. You asked the builder and you asked me, where can we pull 25 grand from? And you and I sat down and went, well, what are the things that we're willing to look at? What are the non-negotiables? We made that list and then we went back to BCT and we said, can you work with us to do this? And they were great. They went away, they spoke to the joiner, they organised a meeting, we got figures, we got information. And then with that information, you went, yes, I'm willing to do that. No, I'm not willing to do that. Keep that, lose that, do it. And we found the 20 grand pretty quickly. And I think it's a really important lesson for people is that you have a project team for a reason. Your builder knows what he's doing, your design team know what to do, and you want to hold on to the fabric. You don't want to start randomly making choices that pull at the threads.
And on some of those things, I'm really glad that some of the things that we decided to keep and not negotiate on, I'm really glad that we did now.
That's right. And I think too,
worth it.
The best thing when you get to the end is that you don't have a regret because you made that choice. You had that information and you made it. So now you're good with it, right? You don't have to think about it again. If you could give someone about to embark on their journey 3 top tips, what would they be? Let's just workshop them.
The first one would probably be to use the best materials you can afford to use.
Yeah.
Because
use quality products.
It just makes a big impact, and they just stand out and they just look so much better.
So you're at the end of your journey. If you could give someone who's about to start theirs 3 bits of advice now that you've done it and you've learnt, what would they be?
The first one would definitely be to, I suppose, work out your budget and understand what that is.
Yep.
And just remember that everything's going to cost more than you think it is. So just make sure you've got plenty of spare cash in the bank when you go in for it.
But also that you're willing to compromise, that you're not going to be so fixated that you can't shuffle that budget.
The second thing I would say would be to use quality products. Use the best that you can afford to use because they really make a difference.
Yeah, they do.
And they just look better and they stand out.
And I think that's also understanding, and if you don't know, seek help with it. What are quality? There's a lot of products on the market, right? The market's flooded with products. But what is a quality product and why? Understand it and really lean into it in your project. I think it's an important one for people to remember.
And just use brands that you trust as well.
Right. And what's the third thing?
Be brave with something.
Right.
So just be bold and don't be afraid to make a statement out of something.
Push yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone. Great. I love that.
Construction, builders, trades, all the top industry.